Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Adi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Vishnupada Paramahanta Pribhaja Kacharya Shrotar Sisi Mara Bhaya Charana Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jaya Nityalila Vishnu Vishnupada Shrotar Sisi Mara Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Maharaj Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bindiki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत राधा शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपगोपीनाथ श्यामकुंद राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर धाम की गंगामाई की यमुनामाई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की समवेत भक्तवृंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवताम की जय गौर प्रेमानंदी. Glory to the Sama devotees, all glory to the Sama devotees, all glory to the Sama devotees, all glory to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today reading a few verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 54th chapter, starting with text number 50 to the end of the chapter. These are just happy verses. śrī-śuka uvāca evaṁ bhagavatā tanvī rāmeṇa pratibodhitā vaimanasyam parityajya mano buddhyā samādadhe. Śrī-śuka uvāca evaṁ bhagavatā tanvī rāmeṇa pratibodhitā vaimanasyam parityajya mano buddhyā samādadhe. Śrī-śuka uvāca evaṁ bhagavatā tanvī rāmeṇa pratibodhitā vaimanasyam parityajya śrī-śuka śrī-śuka uvāca evam bhagavatā tanvī rāmeṇa pratibodhitā vaimanasyaṁ parityajya mano buddhyā samādadhe śrī-śuka uvāca evaṁ bhagavatā tanvī rāmeṇa pratibodhitā mano buddhyā samādadhe. Vaishnavis, śrī-śuka uvāca evaṁ bhagavatam tanvī rāmeṇa pratibodhitā vaimanasyam parityajya śrī-śuka uvāca evaṁ bhagavatā tanvī rāmeṇa pratibodhitā vaimanasyam pratipodhitā samādadhe. Śrī-śuka uvāca. Śukadeva Gosvāmī said, evam, thus, bhagavatā, by the Supreme Lord, pratibodhitā, tanvī, slender-waisted Rukmiṇī, rāmeṇa, by Balarāma, pratibodhitā, enlightened, vaimanasyam, her depression, parityajya, giving up, manaḥ, her mind, buddhyā, by intelligence, samādadhe, composed. Translation by the servants of Srila Prabhupada. Śukadeva Gosvāmī said, thus enlightened by Lord Balarāma, slender Rukmiṇī forgot her depression and steadied her mind by spiritual intelligence. Om jnana-timirandasya gyanam jana shalakaya chakshurum militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Tadati Swaparantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatirishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So there's no purport, but Jiva Goswami has given a few details. So rāmeṇa, Balarāma, first Balarāma chastised Krishna, because he could see that Rukmiṇī was, she was upset. Krishna was ready to kill Rukmiṇī, and so he didn't think it would be a good idea on wedding day to kill her brother. So, although he would probably he later on he killed him anyway. So, but at the right time, in the right circumstance. So he wanted to achieve peace, even though Balarāma is generally a little hot-headed. That's his nature. But he wanted to make the wedding very auspicious. And heads rolling would not be a very auspicious wedding. It's like I have one god brother. I won't mention his name so he's not embarrassed. No. Prabhupada, he wanted to get married, and Prabhupada told him that, he was envisioning certain ladies. Prabhupada called him and said, "So you want to get married?" "Yes, Srila Prabhupada." He was waiting for choice one, A, B, or C. "So you can marry so-and-so." His jaw practically dropped to the ground. No. And he said, "Yes, Srila Prabhupada." And so on the wedding day, they had a wedding in a little apartment in San Francisco. And on the wedding day, first she didn't want to marry him. But anyway, because Prabhupada said, finally they both agreed reluctantly. And on the wedding day, just when they were starting the fire, a dog came up through the apartment and jumped over the fire. No, well, it wasn't a very auspicious wedding. No, it didn't last very long. So anyway, but Balarāma, he can create anything auspicious. So pratibodhitā, he enlightened her. Now he told her, through the last 10 verses or so, how Rukmiṇī was a rascal, basically. Your brother, he may be your brother, but don't be sentimental. You should see things for what they are. And now, after he explained that, Rukmiṇī gave up her depression. What was her depression? She may have acted harshly and just emotionally, so she thought people would criticize her. And that's why Balarāma was in her favor. She started thinking that, but this is not what Krishna wants. He doesn't want my brother, to be here. And my brother is not very auspicious. So she gave up her depression. Now we can see there was depression even 5,000 years ago, but it wasn't very common. Now depression is the norm. People are depressed because the effects of Kali Yuga are depressing. Even sometimes devotees become depressed. Srila Prabhupada said, to practice Krishna consciousness, you have to be a little pessimistic. You can't get depressed by material nature, otherwise it will crush you. And the way to counteract material nature is, as was even quoted yesterday, that that we engage in fully, in devotional service, practicing devotional service to the highest degree. And then Krishna will become very pleased. And when he's pleased, there's no question of depression or any problem. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that asamshayam samagram mam, that if you practice this, and what is that practice? To meditate constantly on Krishna, to become attached to Krishna. Sakta, we become attached to Krishna. Yogam yunjan marashrayaha. That is the real practice of yoga. That is the real surrender to Krishna. That maya sakta manaparta. Our mind becomes attached to Krishna. So, Jiva Gosvāmī comments on this, that actually she could not really be depressed. She is the personification of Chit Shakti. Sometimes she enlivens Balarāma, because Krishna's Chit Shakti sometimes enlivens Balarāma. So in this case, it was a mutual exchange. She enlivened Balarāma, and Balarāma enlightened her. So this is Leela. Sometimes in Leela we see Krishna always wanting to take the subordinate role. Even in relation, we know that Krishna in Vrindavan, in his Vrindavan pastimes, he likes to take the subordinate role, but actually whenever a devotee comes to the platform of pure devotional service, as Lord Brahma prayed to Krishna, Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavate hrit saroja. He said that when a devotee is practicing your devotional service, paribhavitā, exclusively, I mean, nothing else enters into his mind or his actions or his thoughts. Everything is just for you, hrit saroja. And he seats you, ase, he seats you in his heart. Then shutekshita pato. Then you take the path of seeing him through your ears. No, you don't see him you see him through your ears. Even when the wives of the Brahmins, after Krishna appeared before them, or they actually came to see Krishna, bringing all kinds of everything that Krishna wanted for his friends. Then when they saw Krishna standing with his shoulder on one cowherd boy and twirling a lotus flower in the other hand, he was so charming. They said, Krishna, we want to go with you. Forget about these useless husbands. No. And Krishna said, no, this is not good. And then they said, oh, we understand. You have your gopis. We'll stay on the periphery. We'll stay on the outside. You can just if we can see you every day. It's much better than serving these husbands. And Krishna said, no, better you already know me by hearing. So better you continue to know me. This is the best way to know me. So Lord Brahma said that Shutekshita pato nanu nat pumsam. This is the way that your devotee knows you best. And then he says, you're so merciful that when yad diyaya ugrahaya vibhavayanti, when a devotee has a specific bhava, a specific feeling about you, and then you reward them, sadanugrahaya, you give them your mercy by yad tanu pranasyaye, by appearing in that particular form, according to the desire of your devotee. Just like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he decided to reveal himself before all the devotees as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his Mahapraharana Lila, he showed every devotee the relationship according to their particular desire, how they wanted to see him. So this, Lord Chaitanya quoted this verse, and he said that therefore Krishna always wants to become subordinate to his devotee. So anyway, just some thoughts on that particular verse. We'll go to the next verse. Panaya shesha utsvijo dvidvir hatabala prabha smaran virupa karanam vitathatma manorataha chakre bhujakatam nama nivasaya mahatpuram. Left only with his life air, cast out by his enemies, and deprived of his strength and bodily radiance, Rukmiṇī could not forget how he had been disfigured. In frustration, he constructed for his residence a large city, which he called Bhojakata. So Bhojakata, he's a Bhoja prince, and Bhojakata means the place where he made his vow. His vow, I will stay here until, he already promised that he would not return to his city, Kundina, until he conquered Krishna. So I will stay, I'll establish a city here. So much pride. He's already been defeated, totally defeated, thoroughly defeated by Krishna. And even he was advised by Jarasandha, don't worry, I was defeated also 23 times. But I won. One time I won. Actually, he didn't. Just Krishna decided to make him feel that way so he could kill him later. But he said, don't worry, your time will come. Your time will come. So Rukmiṇī took that very seriously. Okay, I'll get back at Krishna. I'll stay here. But actually, Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, he says that in this case, bhoja means experienced, that he experienced defeat, and therefore he took a vow in total defeat. But he's taking this vow, I'll stay here until I can defeat Krishna. Ahatva dharmatim krishnam apratyuha yuvayasim kundinam ya pavekshamit yuktva tatra vasadrusha. Because he had promised, I will not re-enter Kundina until I have killed wicked Krishna. No, this is his point of view. And brought back my younger sister. In that mood of angry frustration, Rukmiṇī took up his residence at that very place. Oh, here it is. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur explains that the word bhoja means experience, and that kata, according to the Nanartha Varga dictionary, means vow. Thus, bhojakata is a place where Rukmiṇī experienced misery as a result of his vow. But he's thinking wicked Krishna. And therefore, because he could not become purified by Krishna's presence, then Balarāma had to kill him. He was looking for every way to insult Krishna, and he made the mistake of trying to do that by insulting Balarāma, and that didn't go well at all. He was cheating, actually. Verse 53. Bhagavan Vishmaka Sutam evam nirjitya bhumipam puramaniya vidhivad upayeme kuru dvaha. Translation. Thus defeating all the opposing kings, the Supreme Personality of Godhead brought the daughter of Bhishmaka to his capital and married her according to Vedic injunctions, O protector of the Kurus. So, nirjita means defeating twice. He defeated the kings, he defeated everyone by taking her in Rakshasa marriage, and then he defeated everyone by fighting them as they pursued him. So he totally defeated. So everyone was rejoicing to see him come. Tada mahotsavo nrinam yadupuryam grihe grihe abudananya bhavanam krishne yadupata nripa. Translation. At that time, O king, there was great rejoicing in all the homes of Yadupuri, whose citizens loved only Krishna, chief of the Yadus. So much love for Krishna. And Krishna loved them so much. Grihe grihe means he appeared simultaneously in everyone's home. No, he can do that. No, just like when Narada Muni wanted to see, what is Krishna doing in all these different palaces? Is he doing the same thing? Is it like the mystic power of a yogi that he can expand himself 7 times, but they're all doing the same thing? No? And so Narada went, in one palace he was embracing his wife sweetly, another palace smelling the head of his sons, another palace speaking to different visitors. And Narada realized Krishna can act 16,108 different ways simultaneously. So here he did it again. In all of the palaces, in all of the homes, not only just the palaces, all of the homes. That means he expanded himself more than 16,108 times just to make everybody happy. So Krishna also expands himself. Pravishta karnarandrena bhavam swanam saroruham. In the second canto of the Bhagavatam, it says Krishna expands himself into the heart of the devotee who's constantly hearing about him. He enters into their heart, sits on the lotus flower of their relationship, and enlightens the devotee and enlivens the devotee. So he's doing this to, as what to speak of all of the yadus. No, he's so happy. He wants to make them happy. Krishna always wants to make his devotee happy. In the 5th canto, the demigods are praying, explaining the mood of Krishna, that he wants to satisfy all the desires of his devotee. But if he sees that that desire will cause the devotee to continue in material existence, then he does a switch. Just like in Sankirtan, in our heavy tactical days, we would do the switch up. So Krishna does the switch up. Instead, he puts his lotus feet on their head, even if that's not what they desire. And in that way, his lotus feet transport the devotee back home, back to Godhead. So this is Krishna. Sometimes we want something, and Krishna would be happy to give it if it will enhance our devotional service and make us surrender to him more. But if it doesn't do that, then Krishna, if the devotee is sincere, Krishna puts his lotus feet on his head. In some cases, like Bali Maharaj, that was literally. In our case, it may be figuratively. And depending on the mood and depth of devotion of the devotee, he may put his lotus feet on the head like he did with Kaliya, a little strongly, wake you up, give you some difficulties, some problems, so that you wake up in devotional service. And if you're practicing very nicely, he may put it very softly on the head. So we can determine what amount of pressure will be by our surrender. Krishna asks us to surrender completely. He's not saying surrender gradually as you like, according to your desire, whenever you want, it's okay, no problem. But Srila Prabhupada said that this is a gradual process, because Srila Prabhupada could see in our neophyte stage, having been so conditioned to by the external society to sense gratification, Prabhupada didn't want us to think, just like one girl wrote to Srila Prabhupada, she was alarmed, wrote to Srila Prabhupada saying, Prabhupada, I don't think it's Krishna consciousness is working for me. I've been chanting for 6 weeks and I still get sick. So, not wanting us to have false, anticipation that I'll just start chanting and everything will go. That can happen. Everything can go away immediately. But generally, unless we were practicing Raganuga Bhakti in our previous life, it probably wouldn't happen quite that fastly, quite that quickly. We'll have to. And so Prabhupada said, gradual process. Don't give up, otherwise it will happen. It will happen. Just keep on, keep chanting, keep following these 4 regulative principles. It will happen. And so, the next verse number 55. Nana nayascha mudita pramishta manikundalai paribhatyam upajarud parayos chitra vasaso. All the men and women, full of joy and adorned with shining jewels and earrings, brought wedding presents, which they reverently offered to the exquisitely dressed groom and bride. No. So Krishna, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, as we sing, he says Krishna is uvāca, expert dresser. No. Just like we see Krishna Balarāma, Raja Shama Sundar, even Gaurnitai, how exquisitely dressed. You know, who can dress like that? You know, like you may see the other day, you know, when you sign into Google, all these little articles appear which are complete nonsense. But I just saw the first one caught my eye, fashion show. No, I didn't look at it, but I was just thinking a fashion show. These ladies come up with all these new, you know, dresses that cost $10,000, $20,000, and they're horrible looking. You know, they're trying to imitate Krishna. Krishna is so beautifully dressed. Rukmiṇī is so beautifully dressed. Who can compete? And therefore, devotees, generally speaking, before Krishna, when you come before Krishna, you should dress simply. Except Prabhupada said, except for the ladies, they can dress beautifully for Krishna. No. This is the way you use your beauty. You dress beautifully for Krishna. No. Not for anybody else except the husband. No. But, of course, that's natural in the case of ladies that are still thinking about bodily beauty. But for Krishna, no. Therefore everyone, it says here, everyone, they brought beautiful presents. They were all exquisitely dressed because they wanted Krishna to see something attractive. No. They wanted, when we go before Krishna, generally speaking, we don't want to compete with Krishna. But these are residents of Dwarka. No. These are not ordinary people. These are eternal residents. Everyone is dressed beautifully. Everyone is has beautiful, exquisite, transcendental features because they are living, they're Krishna's eternal associates. Savishnipur yutam vitendre ketubir vichitra malyambara ratna tornai Baba patidvar yupakripta mangalaya apurna kumbha guru dukta diptikai. Text 56. The city of the Vrishnis appeared most beautiful. There were tall, festive columns, and also archways decorated with flower garlands, cloth banners, and precious gems, arrangements of auspicious full water pots, agaru-scented incense, and lamps graced every doorway. So here's the beauty of Dwarka. No. When Sudam Brahman came to Dwarka, he was thinking, they will reject me. Here I am dressed in rags. Everybody's, everything's so beautiful. I live in a hut. I dress in rags that have holes in them. He was surprised. He kept going. Nobody, the guards just let him go by. He was waiting for any moment just to be thrown out. But he came directly to Krishna because Krishna is in the heart of every resident. And they could see this is a pure Brahman and is Krishna's friend. Therefore, they allowed him with all encouragement to go and see Krishna. Shiktamarga madhachudbir ahuta prishtabhu bhujam kajaya dvasu paramrishta ramba pungo pashobita. The city streets were cleansed by intoxicated elephants belonging to the beloved kings who were guests at the wedding. And these elephants further enhanced the beauty of the city by placing trunks of plantain and betel nut trees in all the doorways. So the kings, they would ride on elephants. No, they wouldn't. Sometimes kings would ride. Generally, warriors would ride in a chariot, and a king going to battle would ride. But when you come to a festival, you ride on an elephant. No, we should get some elephants so when we go to the festival. But they come. They're kings, and so These were intoxicated elephants. Generally, when an elephant is intoxicated, you stay away from them. They can be very unruly. When I was on the first parityajya, we had an elephant, Lakshmi, and she was pretty unruly. And she couldn't stand if you couldn't pass her. One day, Jayadvaita Swami was walking, and he was just chanting. He wasn't thinking, and he kind of passed by her. She grabbed him with her trunk, pushed him back. I also did the same thing because I didn't know. I was new on the parityajya, and so I walked by, and she raised her trunk, and somebody said, "Maharaj, careful!" And so I saw the trunk. I said, "Okay." But one day, she was hungry, and we didn't feed her enough, so she just ran off, and we ran off chasing her, and she jumped in the river, and the river was about, maybe 5 feet deep. So she's a big elephant. She could walk across, and the current was pushing her a little bit, but when we jumped in, the current took us about, half a kilometer down until we could get to the other side. Then we ran after her. By the time we found her, she went through a village and started eating the straw off of the houses, kind of knocking them down. And so, people just stood in awe, because in this area, there were no elephants. It was Andhra Pradesh. And so everyone was standing. Well, when we came, they all said, "Hey, pay for our house, your elephant." So they weren't quite as awed by us as they were by the elephant. So anyway, intoxicated elephants. But they were dripping. They were so intoxicated that madha, sweet nectar, was dripping from their trunks and perfuming the streets. And so therefore their intoxication was actually by being in the service of Krishna. Therefore they were peaceful, even though they were intoxicated. And that intoxicating substance made everybody blissful. So the next verse, verse 58. Kuru Sringjaya Kaikeya Vidarbha Jadu Kuntaya Mito Mumudire Tasmin Sambramat Paridhavatam. So here it says sambravat. Generally that means forgetfulness. But in this case, it means excitement. Everyone was so excited. Those who belonged to the royal families of the Kuru, Sringjaya, Kaikeya, Vaidarbha, Yadu, and Kunti clans joyfully met one another in the midst of the crowds of people, excitedly running here and there. Why were they excitedly running here and there? One may think, well, are they excited to see Krishna? No, they were all running to make arrangements. Just like when we have a festival, especially when it comes right up to the time of the festival, like when the curtains are just about to open on the altar, the pujaris are running back, these last details. It's time to open, the conch shell's blowing, but we have to finish up. So they were running around making the last arrangements for Krishna's wedding. And everything had to be perfect. So it was surprising. Some of these, the Kurus, the Sringjayas, Kaikeyis, the Yadus and the Kuntis and the Kurus, there was a little bit of tension between them, between the Kurus and the Yadus. And the Sringjaya Kaikeyi were kind of outside people. They had all been invited by Balarāma. And Balarāma invited them by sending sages, because he knew that some of these may not come, but he wanted everybody to come and be blessed by seeing Krishna's wedding. And so he sent sages to invite them, especially the Vaidarbhis, because the Vaidarbhis were from Rukmiṇī's kingdom, and Rukmiṇī had just been stolen from there. So they might not have been so inclined. But the sages pleaded with him, please come. And actually they were happy because Krishna exhibited his valor and his kingly nature. And so they came because they thought, he did well. He did well. So we'll come to his wedding. No. Text 59. Rukmiṇā haranam śrutva giyamanam tatastata arajano rajakanyascha babhuvur vrishna vishmita. Again, the word vishmita generally means bewildered, but here it means they were amazed. The kings and their daughters were totally astonished to hear the story of Rukmiṇī's abduction, which was being glorified in song everywhere. Otherwise, it wasn't just everybody was happy about the marriage, but how this marriage was arranged. It was a very joyous scene. And the last verse, Dvarakayam abhudrajan mahamoda puraukasam Rukmiṇā ramayopetam drishtva krishna shriyapatim. Translation. The Dwarka citizens were overjoyed to see Krishna, the Lord of all opulence, united with Rukmiṇī, the goddess of fortune. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the 10th Canto, 54th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Marriage of Krishna and Rukmiṇī. So, in this last verse, it says that Rukmiṇā Ramaya Upetam, joined. So, to see Rukmiṇī, the goddess of fortune, joined with Krishna. But also, Jiva Goswami again enlightens us by saying that Rukmiṇā Ramaya Upetyam, in this case, Ramaya means the goddess of fortune, because Krishna is the Lord of the goddess of fortune. So, the goddess of fortune entered into the body of Rukmiṇī. The goddess of fortune, who always accompanies Krishna, entered into the body of Rukmiṇī at that point in time. And Krishna was joined together with Rukmiṇī, and everybody was very happy. So I was thinking in relation to this, since this is the end of the chapter, and there's no deep philosophical purport, except that this is the wonderful part of philosophy. Philosophy is meant to bring us to the point where we can just appreciate Krishna's lila. And of course we see from Bhaktivinoda Thakur and different acharyas, they explain the contents of leelas are also meant to instruct us. Just like Krishna killing the demons, each demon represents an anartha that we can overcome in Krishna consciousness. But I was thinking how everyone is so happy to see Rukmiṇī become blessed by Krishna. So this is the mood of a devotee. In December 1967, when Srila Prabhupada returned to the US after his heart attack, devotees were very happy to see him. They greeted him, and Prabhupada was also very happy to see the devotees. And then Prabhupada came, and on this first visit he came and sat down with the devotees. There was only like 15, 20 devotees at that time, very sparse group. And so Prabhupada sat down, spoke to everyone, greeted everyone, and then he went into his room, and only his servant and his secretaries came into the room. So after that, Prabhupada had a class, and one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, sometimes we see that there are certain devotees that are always able to be with you, and this is the first time I'm seeing you. So I was feeling a little envy, of these devotees. They're always with you, and you're, and I know this is not right. And Prabhupada said, yes. He said, envy is natural in this material world. Until one becomes a pure devotee of Krishna, there will be always some trace of envy. And so when I read that, I was just remembering that when I thought about this, how that Srila Prabhupada's Leela, Srila Prabhupada's pastimes, Srila Prabhupada's teachings are to bring us to this point where we can be non-envious. And the non-envious attitude is there among Krishna's associates. Just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to, when he was in Jagannath Puri, and the devotees came to Jagannath Puri for the first time. King Prataparudra, well, the first time that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, Prataparudra wasn't there. The second time that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, Prataparudra was there, and he went to the roof. So he was there when Krishna came, and he told Gopinathacharya that, I want to see Krishna, I want to see Krishna's kirtan. And Gopinathacharya said, oh, that'd be a little difficult because you're a king. If he sees you, he may not have the same mood. So Prataparudra, they found a hiding place for Prataparudra. And Prataparudra saw Lord Chaitanya dancing, and he thought, wow, this is wonderful. But then Lord Chaitanya fell to the ground, and he was perspiring, and some liquid was coming from his nose, and froth was coming from his mouth. And Prataparudra became a little bewildered. If he's Krishna, why is this happening? And so that night he was bewildered. So that night he had a dream. And Lord Jagannath appeared in the dream in his majesty. And Prataparudra went running to him. Jagannath said, stop. Why do you want to embrace me? You like it very much when I'm like this, all shiny with oils and beautifully dressed. And then, all of a sudden, from the nose of Jagannath, some liquid ran out and some froth came out of his mouth, and he was covered with dust. He said, but when I'm like this, you don't like me. And then he transformed into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the dream. So then Prataparudra, his doubts were completely vanquished, and he understood. Because Prataparudra was always worshipping Jagannath in awe and reverence. And now he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his mood of complete ecstasy. Now he could actually understand the relationship of Krishna and the gopis by that incident. So this time Prataparudra heard that all of the devotees are coming. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri. He had just seen him. By the mercy of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he had surrendered. So he saw the devotees coming. And Swarup Damodar and Govinda went out to greet them. And first thing they did was they garlanded Advaita Acharya. And Prataparudra said, who is this person? He's so effulgent. Who is he? Oh, he's Advaita Acharya. He is actually the Lord himself. And he and Mahaprabhu have such a sweet relationship. And then Prataparudra heard the kirtan. He said, I have never heard such a kirtan. These devotees are so special. They're so wonderful. And he said, yes, this is called Prema Sankirtan. This is not ordinary Sankirtan that you're used to hearing here in Jagannath Puri. These devotees are situated in Prema Bhakti. And therefore, their kirtan is Prema Sankirtan. And then all the devotees rushed in and went to the residence of Mahaprabhu. And Prataparudra said, why didn't they observe fasting and shave their heads? That's the Vedic injunction. And why are they going to take prasadam before seeing Lord Jagannath? And Sarvabhauma said, these devotees are situated in Raganuga Bhakti. They don't follow the same Vedic rules. The Vedic rules externally say these things, but when someone is touched by Raganuga Bhakti, then it's a whole different situation. He said, even one time I was in bed. I woke up, I hadn't even washed my mouth. And the Lord came and gave me prasadam, and I took it. So when the Lord calls you to prasadam, you don't think about anything else. And so this was like overwhelming for Prataparudra. And then the devotees all went to the house of Kasi Mishra. And then they went to the house of Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu started greeting everyone. And one devotee, Vasudev Dutt, he came in, and Mukunda Dutt was still outside. So he said, Vasudev Dutt, I have known Mukunda since my childhood, but you are his older brother, therefore you are superior. And Vasudev Dutt said, no. My brother, although he is junior to me by external calculation, he was the one who first saw you, and you gave him your mercy. Therefore, he was born before me, because he got your mercy before I did. And therefore, he is my superior. Just like in the case of... And then he saw Damodar Pandit and his younger brother, what's his name? The younger brother of Damodar Pandit, Shankara Pandit. So then he saw Damodar Pandit. He said, Damodar, please take care of your younger brother. And Damodar said, I see you have so much affection for him that he is actually my older brother. So in this way we can see how the devotees want to glorify one another. No? There is no envy in the hearts of such devotees. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Mukunda about his son, what's his son's name? Yes. So, who is the son and who is the father? And he said, oh, he is the son. He is the father, I am the son. Because Krishna personally gave Raghunandan, personally appeared before him and ate the offering. So in this way, the devotees are always glorified. I just want to conclude by one other example, that how devotees are always appreciating other devotees. When the brahmachari, the proud brahmachari, proud of his fasting, wanted to enter into the kirtan of Mahaprabhu, Srivas Thakur said, no, this is RSVP. No, you have to be invited. You can't come on your own. I fast, I do that. So he kept insisting. And Srivas Thakur, he's a very pure person. So he hid him. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu perceived that there was someone in there, he said, someone is here and they're stopping my ecstasy. And Srivas said, I can assure you, everyone here is pious. He said, Srivas, what did you do? So he brought out the brahmachari. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you think? He said, but he just drinks milk and he fasts. You think by fasting or by drinking milk you can attain Krishna prema? No. He said, the monkeys, when they came to serve me, they had no qualification, but because of their service, I accepted them. The gopis of Vrindavan are not scholars, but they are my greatest devotees. No. He said, do you think that this person can achieve me by his austerities? Take him out. No. And then those devotees were escorting him out. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from within the heart, he was thinking, I don't care if they take me out, I don't care if they beat me. I got darshan of Mahaprabhu in my heart has been totally purified. So Mahaprabhu said, bring him back. Now he has the proper mood. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put his foot on his head and said, now you always just serve the devotees. And all the devotees bowed down and offered obeisances to that brahmachari. Although he was the newcomer, he was the neophyte. No. But everyone offered obeisances because he received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, how much more glorious is Srila Prabhupada, who is seeing, just wanting to give Krishna prema to every living entity, rascals, and as Prahlad Maharaj said, Naitan Bihaya Kripanan Bimamuksha Eko. I know these people are kripanas, they're miserable, but I cannot forget about them and think of my own liberation. I must give them mercy. So Srila Prabhupada, in that mood, pushed us in the Sankirtan movement, bring Krishna consciousness to everyone. So this is the glorious position of Srila Prabhupada, feeling so much compassion for every living entity and wanting to see them, taking a humble position, as he did, just to give Krishna's mercy to everyone. So these are some thoughts on these verses, and I'll stop here. Is there a quick question? Although the prasadam bell has sounded. No. Okay, I can see it's time for prasadam. Thank you all very much for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanandi.